It's a big moment, but RJ, we should point out that on Friday, the facility was hit by a tornado, by a big storm. There was damage to certain parts of the factory. What was the net result of that? Is everyone okay? And has there been any material impact to the start of production plan?
Yeah, I mean, of course, you can't plan for these kinds of things, and we didn't expect a tornado to hit Friday night, but the teams responded really well. Fortunately, everyone was safe. We followed our protocols as soon as we knew there were tornadoes in the area. But yeah, a tornado went through the south end of the plant and ripped the roof off the building and knocked down some of the plants as well. And so the last 72 hours have been around the clock. You're getting all the water out of the facility and getting ready to rebuild the south end. But it's like the ultimate example of resilience of the business, where the teams have come together. We still had vehicles come off the line this morning.
Is the plan still the same? You can get through the same kind of ramp strategy that you had, the same volumes in that initial output?
Yeah, our ramp up this week and into next week, we're not making changes to the plan. We're obviously having to make some accommodations for the fact that it's the logistics area of the plant. And so the way that material was flowing into the plant through the dock doors is now has to come in a different way. But, we're working through it.
What's interesting is orders, demand, configuration. RJ, what do people want, and how willingly are they putting in the orders?
Yeah, I mean, and you said I drove a bunch of R2s off the line today. I've been driving an R2 for a while, and the car is just incredible. It's the combination of the package, the driving dynamics, the efficiency, of course, the design, and just the aesthetic feel. So we're really excited to get folks into it. There's a tremendous amount of enthusiasm. We've had a few events where we've hosted potential customers to experience it. And, we were in Denver a couple of days ago, and there was like a super long line just to sit in the car. So we love to see the enthusiasm. And I can't wait to continue to ramp up production and start seeing these on the road. I
mean, I loved Ed's enthusiasm when he came to have a look at your in-house AI chip, and I'm interested as to where, therefore, that vertical integration comes in. You're also including LiDAR. Look, there's a roadmap for these variants. When does that enter production, RJ?
So our in-house silicon, which is 800 TOPS per chip, we have 2 of those chips in the vehicle, and we couple that with cameras, radar, and a LiDAR that sits at the top of the windshield. That comes in at the end of this year. And so our launch edition still has a very highly capable self-driving platform, which is essentially a further development of what's in our R1 vehicle now. But across the vehicle, R2 just represents so many learnings for us as a business, whether it's the driveline, the power electronics, just the way it's being built in terms of cost and cost efficiency. And so there's not a detail in the car that hasn't been thoughtfully evolved or developed relative to what we've done on R1.
RJ, I want to go a bit more specific on what Kara's talking about. The story with R2 has changed a little bit. I think you're probably thinking about an autonomous future a bit more than you were. But the idea was to get close to that $45,000 mark, a vehicle for the masses. You start with a premium or more expensive variant. But what are you seeing in the demand pockets for getting to a lower price point? That is where you want to take on the established OEMs, right?
Yeah. Well, the average price of a new car in the United States is about $50,000. And so really important to us as we were developing R2 is recognizing we wanted to be right in that range. And so having a variant that starts at 45 and then going up to our top spec of for the performance version with all the kit for the interior is at 57. It allows us to really nicely straddle that. And of course, in launching any product, you have the decision of what do you launch first? Do you launch the base spec, mid spec, top spec?
Right.
And it's impossible to sort of make everyone happy with when you have a launch edition. So we decided to launch with the premium spec. But we'll be introducing like a mid-spec vehicle, and then the $45,000 version will come thereafter. But that all rolls out over roughly the next year. And there's so much enthusiasm for the product that we feel really confident with the way we've configured the specifications. and even the pricing, we feel quite strong that we've priced it appropriately, especially when you look at the capabilities and then the cross shop of what other vehicles are in the space.
I've experienced the R2 that does have the LiDAR and the in-house silicon. And it's so interesting. There's going to be a generation of R2s that don't have it. I know that you said they're very capable with the NVIDIA silicon and without LiDAR, but that's a big call to make, right? Is there any flexibility to accelerate the timing of where you can start production on the R2 line in Illinois and bring in that gear? Because what you're pitching for the autonomous capabilities, even the advanced driver assistance capabilities of R2, they are predicated on that next gen gear.
Well, the launch edition still has a very high ceiling, and so this will get to, and our Gen 2 R1 will also do this. Later this year, we'll start to roll out point-to-point level 2, so meaning hands-off wheel, eyes on road, but you type the address in and the car completely drives you there. And then into next year, we'll start to roll out level 3, so hands-off, eyes off for specific domains, in this case, starting with highways. And that will be true for Gen 2 of R1. It'll be true for the launch edition of R2, and it'll, of course, be true for the variant of the vehicle that has the higher compute stack and more capable perception. And what that more capable perception is going to allow for is a higher ceiling of what the vehicle can ultimately achieve. And so it'll achieve higher levels of capability. And importantly, it serves as a really valuable part of our data flywheel. And so think of the R2 fleet, it's a high volume product, as being part of training what we call our large driving model. And the existence of a LiDAR plus the enhanced inference just allows us to do a better job of capturing lots and lots of driving miles to train our model.
Look, other automakers are probably looking at that flywheel. RJ, I'm really interested in some of the hints we're getting, some of the coverage in the markets about discussions to license your software, your autonomy stack, your underlying technology to other automakers. Is that in the works?
Well, I think in the fullness of time, when you look at what we're building as a business, there's really two revenue opportunities. One is we continue to grow by selling vehicles. And so, of course, R2 is the embodiment of that. That's what we're driving towards. But there's another element of our business, which is leveraging the technology we're developing. And the first example of that was what we did with Volkswagen. We did a $5.8 billion software licensing deal. And that allows us to deploy this is not our self-driving, but our compute stack and our software platform, our OS, across a wide range of electric vehicles within the Volkswagen portfolio. And so we're excited about the potential to do more deals like that with our operating system in the vehicle, with our electric vehicle, and certainly as we think about autonomy, the potential that's there for us to also license that in the long term.